Welcome to Conflict News 24. A look at headlines. Vastly East Congo conflict, where talks underway in Nairobi, Kenya to resolve this conflict. Any progress? Are these armed factions represented at the talks? Anyone representing M23, ADF, Burundian groups in East Congo and FDLR, who is representing these groups in Nairobi? And if no one is representing them, is there any possibility of some breakthrough at the talks being held in Nairobi, Kenya? Secondly, dozens of casualties are being reported in a village where there was heavy fighting yesterday between M23 fighters and ethnic Hutu fighters of FDLR and Mai Niyotara militia. What happened there? Who are the killed? Are they civilians? M23 is being blamed for a civilian massacre in Bambo, where fighting erupted yesterday. Thirdly, Ukraine, viewers, a letter bomb injured a Ukrainian official working at Ukraine's embassy in Spain today. Who sent this letter bomb to Ukrainian embassy? Details for you. Firstly, viewers, East Congo conflict. As you know, that talks are underway in Nairobi, Kenya. East Africa community leaders, their delegations are attending talks in Nairobi, Kenya. Last week, talks were held in Luanda, Angola, hosted by Joao Lourenço, Angolan president. A joint declaration was issued, but the declaration was partially implemented. The declaration called for implementation of ceasefire starting from Friday. Ceasefire is largely intact, but the declaration called for withdrawal and disarmament of armed groups in East Congo, which has not happened so far. Then a talk started on Monday in Nairobi, Kenya. We saw that East Africa community leaders addressed the gathering. Museveni, Kagame, and Felix Tshisekedi virtually addressed the summit, but Ruto was there in person. Burundi's president was there too, and main mediator, Kenyan former president Uhuru Kenyatta is there. Yesterday and on day before yesterday, these regional leaders delivered speeches, and then started the difficult task of engagement between East Africa community facilitator Uhuru Kenyatta and representative of civil society and armed groups and delegations from East Africa community countries. So these engagement talks are underway. No breakthrough so far. Is M23 being represented at these talks? No. M23 is not part of these talks. What about other armed groups, main groups like Ugandan ADF, Allied Democratic Forces, and Rwandan opposition group FDLR? No one is representing these groups in the talks being held in Nairobi, Kenya. Question is, if main groups are out of talks, can there be a breakthrough at Nairobi talks? Most analysts they agree that Uganda and Rwanda are interfering in East Congo, that they are providing military support to M23, and some go to the extent of saying that Rwandan troops are fighting in the guise of M23 fighters. Rwandan and Ugandan delegations are there in Nairobi, Kenya. So that is why we can say that indirectly M23 is represented in Nairobi, Kenya. Without the support of neighboring countries, it would have been difficult for M23 fighters to capture such large territories. Kiwanja, Ratshoro City, Rugari, Kabumba, and now they are trying to move towards Masisi, towards Kishanga, then towards Masisi. They have taken control of large territories in recent months. Who is supplying them with weapons? They are seen armed with weapons, neat uniforms, properly dressed in uniforms with other equipment as well, with helmets. So who is arming them? And they managed to capture some tanks of Congolese military. So it means they have some anti-tank weapons too. Who is arming them? Definitely regional players are involved. Regional players are in talks at Nairobi. At Nairobi session. That is why there could be a breakthrough. Indirectly, M23 is represented in Nairobi, Kenya, but so far no news of any breakthrough. Secondly, viewers, a civilian massacre is being reported in a town where there was heavy fighting on Wednesday between M23 fighters and FDLR and My fighters. It is being claimed that local militia members who were civilians basically, they have been killed by M23 fighters in a village called Kishishe. Kishishe is in Bambo group, Ratshoro zone, North Kivu province. And if you remember, in yesterday's video, we reported there was heavy fighting in Kishishe. M23 fighters accused local residents of Kishishe of having carried out an ambush on a convoy of M23 fighters. Some jeeps of M23 fighters, they were attacked by some locals. And after that, M23 took revenge, reportedly, and several locals, mostly youth, were killed in Kishishe. Dead bodies have not been handed over to the local elders so far. Around 50 casualties are being confirmed, and most of these people are members of local defense force. We know that Congolese government is trying to form local defense units to defend from M23 fighters, which is not working because M23 is well equipped, more trained. Even Congolese military is recruiting some new troops, new soldiers, but problem is that military does not have lots of weapon arsenal. Training is an issue too. Supply of logistics issue too. So Congolese military is facing problems. How can locals be in a position to counter M23 fighters? Civilian massacre is being reported, but so far no statement from M23 fighters. But several dozen killed in Kishishe reported. Lastly, viewers, a Ukrainian official was injured today at Ukrainian embassy in Spain, which is in Madrid, Ukraine, Spanish city. The embassy received a letter bomb. Somehow, the letter managed to evade security checkings. It reached the staff of a Ukrainian embassy. When this letter was opened, it had an explosive device, locally manufactured, crude sort of device, which exploded. The embassy official, Ukrainian national, was slightly injured. His finger was slightly injured. The letter was addressed to Ukrainian ambassador to Spain. Investigations are underway. Who is behind this attack? Is Russia behind this attack, or are some disgruntled Spanish elements are behind this attack. Because while Russia-Ukraine war is ongoing and European countries are supporting Ukraine, in Europe we are seeing reaction in some countries against Europe's support for Ukraine, because Europeans are suffering the consequences. They are facing the consequences because Russian gas is not reaching Europe. Food prices are going up. Economies are under stress. Energy prices going up. Food prices as well. So there are lots of challenges being faced by Europeans because of Europe's support for Ukraine. That is why there are some elements in Spain, in France, in Germany who are opposing these countries' support for Ukraine. So there could be such elements behind this letter bomb sent to Ukrainian embassy. Luckily, the embassy official was slightly injured.